Hello, good morning. Welcome to Political Circle. Saturday, November 8th, is the date for the gubernatorial election in Anambra State. The candidates are busy campaigning in the field. The political parties are educating and mobilizing the voters. 16 out of the 19 registered political parties are participating in the election. The stage is set. How are they preparing? Which of them will carry the day? How strong is the incumbent? How prepared is INEC? These and many more questions we intend to unravel on Political Circle today. Our topic is Build Up to Anambra Gubernatorial Election, the candidates and their chances. My name is Luke Mbo. I am joined by NZOMIWU, PhD, a veteran journalist and a public affairs analyst. Dr. NZOMIWU, my pleasure.
Yes, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes. November 8th, 2025 is the D-Day for Anambra people. How prepared are the people for this gubernatorial election?
Personally, if you ask me, I will tell you that I won't say that the people are very prepared for the election. Of course, you know that we have voter apathy in Nigeria, and Anambra State in particular. If we should go by the outcome of or the results of previous elections. For instance, the election that produced the incumbent governor, he became the governor of Anambra State with about 112,000 votes in a state where you have more than 2 million registered voters at that time. So I will tell you that apathy is a big issue. You know, you are talking about the preparation. Personally, I expect the political parties, I expected that by now they ought to have started mobilizing the voters. You know, because you talk about the electorate, that is very important that you mobilize them, because when you mobilize the voters, that is when the election actually reflects, do I say, the wish of the people. When the people, not when maybe on the day of the election, if you come to the polling booths, you see very few people, you know, an abysmal outcome. So I think I expected the parties to have moved into the field and you know, to campaign vigorously, but so far we have not seen that.
Is that what you're suggesting? Or
no, you see, let me tell you, you know, at times we do misconstrue this issue of campaigning. It's not when maybe once in a week you hold a rally and you say that you're campaigning. Of course, you find out that most times those rallies they hold, the people who attend the rallies are mostly the party members. You know, mostly the party members. When I mean, if you are when you are campaigning, for instance, you are in the media, how often do you see the campaign jingles of the candidates in Anambra? How often do you see even in the social media, in the traditional media? How often do you see it? You know, it's not about gathering people in a place and you talk to them and you say you are campaigning. For instance, we all saw what happened in the by-election. If we should use that by-election to predict what will happen, of course, you know that what it means is on the day of the election, November 8th, the buying and selling will continue again. The last by-election in Anambra was the most monetized ever in the history of the country. And of course, you know, Anambra has that culture of vote buying right from time.
So what you're saying now is that, let me now ask you.
Yes.
Are the campaigns ideologically based, or just the normal, usual promises by politicians?
No, let me tell you, there's this funny issue about the campaign going on in Anambra State that is really baffling me. I've not heard the candidates, most of them, say what they want to do. For instance, it beats my imagination that an incumbent in Anambra, somebody who has stayed in power, I'm talking about the governor, Professor Charles Soludo, who has been in power for almost 3 years now. It's going to 3 years now. He's telling people to vote him just to sustain the zoning formula in the state.
I will get to him because I'm going to take some of the candidates one after the other. Well, like I said, so it is not ideologically based. They are not talking about the ideology of their parties, what they intend to do for the people if they get into power. They are still joking with it. Why? What is today's date? And we're talking about November 8th.
No, but I've not seen much of that, with the exception of the ADC guy, the one who is campaigning on what he called his Shems program. With the exception of the guy, I've not seen the others telling us what they really intend to do. For instance, the candidate of the APC in Anambra, I've personally observed that he's more concerned with attacking the incumbent governor, than saying what he will do when he comes into office. But I heard him on one occasion say that he's not ready to make bogus promises. It looks absurd. How can you be campaigning and you're telling people that you're not ready to make promises? I'm not saying that maybe he should start saying that he will build Anambra State into New York, like the incumbent said that he will build Anambra State into Dubai, Taiwan, which personally, we have not. We are asking ourselves if
candidates one after the other because I was looking at their chances too. Now let's talk about security. How peaceful, first of all, are the campaigns?
So far, with the exception of the incident that happened at Henry, where there was scuffle between the ruling party in Anambra State, ABGA, and the APC, the federal party, the APC, over billboards. Like ABGA complained, which is the government in power, complained that the APC people didn't pay for their campaign materials. There was a time they said that parties should pay 50 million, for which personally I keep asking myself whether the state government has such powers to tell parties. I know that if you talk about outdoor advertising, it should be the function of the local government when you talk about billboards and the rest. So with the state government saying that these people didn't pay for exhibition of their campaign material and things like that, but that was the only time we heard about a scuffle between the two parties. We've not heard much of that. Okay. If you are talking about general insecurity, that is where I will tell you that we still have a problem in Anambra.
Yes, I was about coming to that, the security situation of the state, because there must be security before you can talk about a peaceful election.
Sincerely, since the current administration in Anambra, security has been abysmal. It has been very poor, the security situation in the state. We've witnessed unprecedented insecurity, and I will say it with utmost sense of responsibility. Of course, there was a time, several killings occurred in Anambra. There was a time some of your colleagues in the media, the DSTV crew, who were traveling for a football match, about 3 of them lost their lives. Somewhere between the border, Anambra State border to Imo State. Some of them were killed, and we've had series since the inception of this government. Say it's uncountable, and I think that was what prompted the state government at a point to say that they were starting the Agone Chamber security outfit, and then the Udogachi security operation, which some of the other opposition parties claimed was is actually a political tool of the sitting government. And since they started the operation, we have not seen an improvement. You were aware of the killing of the fish magnet the other day in Anambra. Even the other time, we heard about the killing of one of the community leaders in Henry or so. So it has...
Is it part of this latest one, the youth copper?
And that is what I'm saying. Like, even when they brought the Agone Chamber, it has even compounded the security situation in the state. We are now witnessing lawlessness, by people who were actually recruited to secure the lives of the people in the state. They have even added to the insecurity. So in Anambra, let me tell you, and it baffles me.
As a journalist, what really happened between the outfit and the youth corps member?
No, I won't talk about. I'm not here as a journalist. Of course, I'm not reporting in Oka.
Yes.
And I personally, I'm not in the field now. As a just but I don't want to go into that. I think you can get more of that information from security agencies. I'm speaking generally.
Yes.
That the security situation in Anambra, the insecurity is seismic. Let me tell you, in terms of security, the governor has failed abysmally, because if you go to the Constitution of Nigeria, on the day of his inauguration, he said he swore to uphold the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy in Chapter 2 of the Constitution, and that Section 14 states very clearly that security and welfare of the citizens shall be the primary duty of the government. So a government that cannot perform its primary duty has failed.
He has no control of the federal security.
Let me tell you, that excuse is not tenable. But he's not in control of the federal security, but he collects more than R1 billion security vote every month.
Well, that's not our topic today. It's just part of it to see how peaceful and how secure the Anambra State is for the election.
Yes.
But there is this issue talking about during the just concluded by-elections in the state. By-election.
Yes.
There were hijacking of materials. There were reports of hijacking of materials, especially in the Orif, the axis. So what are the people doing to forestall such during the November 8 elections?
No, it's not really a case of, you don't expect, it's not the job of the people to forestall people snatching ballot materials. Let me put it there. Yes, security is everybody's business, but if there is an election, it is expected that the government, when I mean the federal government and the state government, should provide enough security to enable the people come out en masse and vote in a very peaceful atmosphere. And if there is an election and people are snatching ballot materials, it means that the government did not do what they ought to do, you see. So, and that is a very big issue. And like I told you, I believe strongly that insecurity is a contributory factor to voter apathy. But a very big factor is the issue of the economy, because when people feel so insecure economically that they can come out, when you know that if the vote you cast today for anybody will determine your fate in the next 4 years, but you come out and you sell your vote to somebody for maybe 10,000 naira, that means in the next 4 years, because if somebody who bought your vote owes you nothing.
Yes. So what is the mobilization and education and information to the people like?
That is what I'm saying, that for now it is very poor. I'm happy that you're talking about the Anambra election here. How many of the political parties have approached you, Dr. Luke, that they want to appear in your program to sensitize people about the election? And it's not even the media alone. When I'm done, how many of them are going to the grassroots to speak to the people? You know, how many of the political parties are doing that? It's not. Let me tell you, billboards don't win votes.
I agree with you.
At times of these billboards, they went and mounted them in very obscure places that people don't even have time to look at it when they are passing. And you think that if your billboards are everywhere, it will get you votes. They don't get votes. They must go, the political parties. And seriously, you know, at times, I don't know who to blame, whether I should blame INEC or to blame the political, because INEC should also be educating the political parties that you people should go and mobilize the voters to come out and vote. I'm not saying INEC should do that, because I know that they don't have the capacity, because it's people, party members, who should go and educate people and tell them, stop selling your votes. And then the civil society also, how many of the people are encouraging them? Because in this situation, we also expect the civil society to move into the field to talk to people. But of course, you know the state of things in the country. People should encourage them. How many of the parties are doing that? You see? So it's very unfortunate that you know, every time we keep talking about the same thing. Most of these candidates, they spend billions to go and grab party tickets. When it comes to the actual election, they won't mobilize people.
Now let's talk about the candidates, yes, and their chances.
Yes.
Let's take them one after the other, because time is not our friend.
Yes.
Briefly, the incumbent.
In Nigeria, you know that
power of incumbents
is a factor very in Nigerian, because our situation is very peculiar. Go to other countries, the advanced world, you see incumbents lose the election. Joe Biden lost the last presidential election. Not as he wasn't even nominated by his party. At the end of the day, another person was nominated. So, but go to Ghana, you see ruling parties losing the election. It is not as if it has not happened. It happened in Nigeria on one or two occasions. But our political culture, we haven't reached that point that if incumbents are contesting the election, it is a 50-50 chance between the incumbent and the other candidate. In Nigeria, it is still at 90%. 10%, in the sense that most of the incumbents, they control the state resources, government resources. And when you have a culture where people go and buy votes, you cannot outbuy an incumbent. Somebody like Soludo, who in July got about 28 billion naira. How can you outbuy him in an election? So incumbency is a factor in the coming election in Anambra. It is actually a
so factor. What about Nicholas Ukachukwu of the APC? You know, based on that, he's of the APC, and the APC is the federal ruling party.
Okay, before I talk about Ukachukwu, let me say that in terms of if we should go by the performance of the incumbent, I don't think that somebody who could not perform his primary duty should be allowed to come back. But like we said, the incumbency factor in Anambra, so let us leave it at that. Then talking about Ukachukwu is running as the candidate of the federal party in Nigeria. That should have been a leverage for him to upstage the incumbent. But I don't know, it appears even the incumbent who is running on the platform of ABGA has more federal might influence. It appears has more federal might than the person running on the federal party. Of course, a few days before the by-election, we saw the incumbent visit the president, and when he came, he was exuding confidence. Of course, you know, he hosted the president the other time in Anambra, and they talked about progressives working together. So I don't, if we should go by that, I can't really say that the chances of the person in the federal party, Ukachukwu in Anambra, that his chances are high.
Time is not our friend. Let's look at Nwosu Chima of the ADC.
sincerely, that is one young man I admire. In the sense, I've listened to him, his programs. He keeps talking about security, that he's going to secure Anambra using a high-tech approach. He said that Anambra, he's going to mount CCTV cameras all over Anambra and then set up a control room to monitor every part of the state. And of course, knowing that he's an IT person, although a graduate of economy, he's an IT person, but his programs resonate with me. In terms, he talks about health, about education.
Graduate of first class of economics.
No, personally, yes, I know, and a distinguished professor. And if you talk about antecedents of all the candidates, none of them can beat Soludo. Somebody who has a former university professor, World Bank consultant, Central Bank governor, and de facto Minister of National Planning that time, for former chief economic advisor to the president, former member of the Presidential Advisory Committee under Buhari. But we have not seen that in Anambra. Since he became the governor of Anambra, he has not, in fact, the only promise Soludo has kept in Anambra is that he's going to wear aquatic clothes.
No. Okay, let's leave the incumbent. Let's go to another judge of the Labour Party.
No, but he's another person, another candidate, to watch. If you ask me, he's somebody to watch out for, in the sense that he's running on the platform of Labour. During the last presidential election in Anambra, Labour Party pulled about 600,000 votes. During the land, and then the influence of Peter Obi. If actually Peter Obi will support Moralo, I'm sure he will make an impact in the election. Not only Peter Obi, the senators in Anambra, the Labour Party senators, Victor May, Tony Moye, several members of the House of Representatives, George Ozodinobi, Lilian Orobu, they are all supporting him. Victor Ogene. So he's another person, that to look out for.
But let not finish this program without talking about a woman. I can see there's a woman here. I think she's Ndidi Christie Olie of the NRM party. Are women not involved? Women in politics?
No, but let me tell you, sincerely, I just heard about her now, and even her party too. And personally, I'm one of the advocates of women participation in politics. And go to other countries where women are involved. They are doing better in terms of governance. The men have failed, though. If you tell me
your personal view,
choose a governor of Anambra, I will support a woman this time, because let's even take it from 1999. Let's not go beyond that. Let's take it from 1999. We had a Mbadi Nuju. It was an abysmal outing. We had Ngige. Ngige did well as the governor of Anambra. Of course, his administration was short-lived. They removed him through the election tribunal. Then we talk about Peter Obi. Peter Obi did well too.
A woman acted at a time, if I could remember.
And during that brief period, Vijay Tiaba was there. Anambra made, within that 4 months or so, we made progress. Even the road that passed through Peter Obi's father's house was awarded by Vijay Tiaba at the time she acted. We saw, go to Nnewi area, many roads were awarded, were constructed, just within a very short time. And let me tell you, I strongly believe that time has come for us to start giving women opportunity in leadership, because since 1960, when we got it, men have been there and we have failed. so if there's a woman who is running, in fact, that day I will vote for her, whether she wins or not.
So you vote for women?
No, I'm saying that I would prefer a woman, because men have failed. But if you look at the person you mentioned, I just told you here, I heard about her. I just heard about her party here, and even the woman herself. So I think that the major parties should start considering fielding women.
But APC is fielding a woman as a deputy governor.
My brother, of course, you know, in Nigeria, deputy governors, the way they are, we see them in Nigeria. Some people say that deputy governors are spare tires. No, they don't. They have. I think it's time that we start talking about giving powers, you know, amending the constitution to give powers to deputy governors. It will help us. There's one person alone. This issue of saying a governor is only in the absence of the governor that the deputy should act. I've just told you what happened the time Peter Obi was impeached and Vejata Etiaba came in. We saw tremendous progress during that time.
Well, on this beautiful note, and you're systematically campaigning for women, I would like to end the show today. I've been talking to a colleague and friend, NZOMIWU, PhD, a veteran journalist and a public affairs analyst. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome, Dr. Magic.
Save Nature TV, news in your pocket.